If you're looking for some gorgeous new instrumental music, you've got to check out Nana Ouyang's new Love Letter EP. It's a short but sweet demonstration of what the Taiwanese actress, singer, songwriter, guitar player, pianist, cellist can do when she steps outside of the glitzy Mandopop universe she's been in for the last 10 years or so and really stays true to her classical roots. Unless you've seen this.
Here are Ouyang Nana and Wiz Khalifa.
Or unless you're into Mandopop or Chinese romantic films, Nana Ouyang is probably not on your radar. If you like new age classical music, instrumental music, I think her new Love Letters EP is good reason for you to get to know her. Ouyang comes from a family of celebrated Taiwanese musicians, and she started playing guitar, piano, and cello at the ages of 4, 5, and 6, respectively. She kicked off her acting career a couple years later, starring as a cellist in the Chinese film Beijing Love Story, and she's been in 7 films since, including starring alongside Jackie Chan in the sci-fi cyberpunk 2017 film Bleeding Steel. After her debut classical album 15, which features her on cello playing works from Rachmaninoff, Schubert, and Mendelssohn, and her awkwardly titled Cello Loves Disney album, she signed with Universal Music and basically turned into a pop star. And no doubt, her voice is beautiful and it works perfectly fine on simple pop songs. But those curious what kind of original music this classically trained prodigy could write if she really stayed true to her classical roots have been waiting and wanting and probably giving up hope in the decades since her classical debut. But now, finally, we get a taste of Ouyang's artistic, serious, creative power on her Love Letters EP. Mind you, it is just a taste. It's only 4 tracks, clocking in at about 15 minutes of music. But I will say that time passes more slowly in this 15-minute universe of Ouyang's creation. These are beautiful tracks, and more importantly, they signal what could be a new direction for the 24-year-old's career. Out of the glitzy Mandopop and toward a sound that is seemingly more true to herself. Right out of the gate, we get something that we just haven't gotten enough of from Ouyang in the last 10 or so years. Gorgeous, unadorned solo cello. Bowing across multiple strings, she outlines chords and melody all by her lonesome. Now, this might be more of a personal taste thing, but I always really appreciate a sparse mix. Every time you add an element to a soundscape, you reduce the overall space that each element can take up. I mean, it's simple physics, right? The frequency spectrum only has so much room. And every time you add something to that space, you reduce the size of each element. I also deeply appreciate a bare bones approach because I see it as a throwback to the time before digital multi-track recording made it possible to record essentially endless numbers of tracks, to a time when musicians only had maybe 4, 8, 16 tracks to work with, and they had to do more with less. They had to make each thing count. Now, if you're a fan of new age classical music, then you probably know that vocals aren't super common in this genre, and I sort of did a double take when Ouyang starts singing just a little bit before the 1-minute mark into this EP. She's got this gorgeous, haunting melodic line, and honestly, it kind of left me wanting more vocals on this release overall. Not many artists can call on such a diverse array of skills, and it's nice to see Ouyang using them, utilizing the full spectrum of her talents in such a cool and creative way. And the interesting ear-bending innovations don't stop there either. She integrates her guitar playing skills with her cello work, doing these plucked or pizzicato slides up the cello neck and creating this really cool, billowing, woody, moody tone that fits this track and this EP perfectly. Whereas in the first half of the song, her voice is basically just following the cello melody. In the second half, the two come unglued, and it's awesome. She plays these simple low chords on the cello and then outlines these higher melodies with her voice, and it's just gorgeous. The next track, Hummingbird, is one that I think fans of Philip Glass and Paul Leonard Morgan will really enjoy. Ouyang arpeggiates these spooky sounding chords that are kind of reminiscent of the Tales from the Loop TV show soundtrack. Here we get multi-tracked cello with both a bowed and a plucked pizzicato sort of bass line played on the cello, plus a higher melody on top of that, and a very high faint note that rings out over the top of it. And when the music suddenly stops for a moment, it sort of sounds like a flatlining patient before we get the first of Ouyang's really beautiful piano parts on this record. And the piano continues into the next track, Turtle. Now, I don't know why this track is called Turtle, but it is a relatively light, bright, relaxing piece. And you really could picture that happy little creature sunbathing on a rock in some peaceful pond. Right before about the 3-minute mark, the cello takes this unexpected melodic direction, using pedal tones to climb to this as yet unexplored territory for this track. And for about the next minute, the cello and piano melodies sort of dance in and out of each other before sort of slowly lilting down to another rest. And it's just fantastic. But my favorite on Ouyang's little EP here has to be the closer, Nocturne. The pizzicato cello is back, but this time with more sharply articulated and downtrodden melody, probably the saddest on this EP. The high, mellow piano part is as ethereal as anything from Alexandra Strelitzky, and it climbs alongside the cello without ever really stealing the spotlight. That is, until about the 2-minute 30-second mark when the tables turn quite dramatically, if not violently. Ouyang lets loose this wave of notes, like a firework going off, just before quieting down and bringing Love Letters to an end. So is Love Letters a taste of things to come? Is it Ouyang's sort of coming-of-age release? Or will she give up that gravitas and try to hold on to that sort of teeny bopper Mandopop image through the back half of her 20s? Here's hoping for the first. Did you listen to this album? What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to show me you care, like, subscribe, and share.